Hey, what's up? Shikadak and I back again with another Neos VR tutorial. We're going to go ahead and show you some other things today. The previous video, I had shown you how to use this dev tooltip here to create a variety of different things with create new and all that kind of good stuff. So we're going to show you something a little bit different here today. Show you some other different tooltips that we can use. All right, so let me go back to smooth POV here and spin around. Make sure I'm rendering my UI. Let's check that. Yep, okay. So first time we were in the Essential Tools folder and we had selected this one, and we also went to this material one. So let me show you some other ones here. So you recall with the Dev Tooltip, I was able to create new 3D model, and I can make any of these models here, right? Well, you can do the same thing by using this tool right there. So this one here allows you, it's a shape tool. You can see right there that it's a cube that's on the tip of it. So if I click here and drag out in the world, I make a box. How awesome is that? All right. You can make as many of these as you want and create whatever you want. Now you can see that they are separate like this. However, I'm going to show you a real quick tip, just real quick. I'm going to do a little sidebar here. So I'm going to move that tip out of the way. You remember that in the first video, I showed that you can select an object with your dev tooltip, and then you can go to the open inspector, and you can see it says up there, cube. That's the root of it. Let me move this out of the way. So you can see right there, it says cube. Now that's for this cube here. If I wanted these both to be parented together, there is a tip that can do that, such as one of these is a glue tip, which is somewhere in here. Component, there it is, glue tip. I can do that and just drag and have them glued together. But the other way that's interesting to know how to do is by doing a parent-child. So I'm going to select this other cube and open its inspector. So we have this cube here, and we have this cube here. If I take this cube and I grab it, I grab the name so that the name is right there in front, and I drop it right there on top of that, you can see it becomes a child of this one here. Okay, so that's now a child of that. So now I can go ahead and move the whole thing. See that? So now they're parented. So that's just one way that you can do that. And the other way, again, is just to, I believe, move it. How do you do that? Oh, I can't remember how to deparent it. I think you just move it up to the root and drop it in the root of the world, which would be this world here. So I don't want to do that right now. I got too many things in my list there. But either way, I'll just delete it. So here is the cube that we made using our little shape tool. Let me show you here that you can also, let's equip it again. You can go ahead and click in on the thumbstick, change it to a sphere. Now we have a sphere. Simple as that. Just keep clicking through them, and you can see you can make a variety of different shapes. Okay, just like that. And while you're holding them, you can go ahead and do a destroy on them as well. So that is the shape tool. Now, when you destroy them, it doesn't destroy it from the game. It just destroys it from wherever you're just hosting it there. All right, let's go back and look here again. Now we have this other one, which is called a geometry line brush tip. I'm going to go ahead and open that up. And when you equip that, it looks kind of interesting, right? It's got a little bit of a weird shape to it. If you click and drag, you can design things in 3D. Isn't that cool? Yeah. Now, if you don't like the thickness of that, you can actually, if you see this here, you can actually grab this and spin it. See that? And you make it bigger, just like that. Now, here's something else that's really cool as well. Here's something else that you probably didn't know as a newbie. Is you can go to, let's go to my inventory. I'm going to go to Neos Essentials. I'm going to go to Materials. And I'm going to say tiles. And let's pick this material here. Okay. And this is really cool. Okay, you see that tip of that? If I move it and dip it in there, it takes on the texture. How awesome is that, right? I love that. I mean, this game is so creative. Got some really cool stuff. So anyways, you can do that by just dipping the tip into the materials that you have. Okay, so again, you're going to spin that wheel to go ahead and change the size of that. All right, let's go back here again to our essential tools. This one here is called another geometry line brush. Let's take a look at that, see what it is. Oops, did I spawn two of them? Nope, just one. Okay. All right, so this one here looks like it is a flat line. So I'm assuming, yeah, it's one of them deals. And I think you can go to your context menu and change the color. So I can say, whoops, I can say, let me make it red and glow a little bit, I guess. There we go. Nice. Nice. Look at that. How awesome is that? Okay. Be like a lightsaber, curved. So you can see it's just crazy creativity here that can happen with just using these tooltips here, which are really cool. Okay. Go ahead and delete that. All right. We did the shape one. Let's do the light one here. So we'll grab the light one and equip it. Okay, so the first one here is a point light, and what you'll do is you'll kind of aim out in front of you, and while you're holding trigger, you'll pull back, and that increases, and I haven't let go of the trigger yet, it increases or decreases the intensity of the light. So I'm going to let go, okay? And that would be the light, but you can also change it from point to spot. There we go. Whoops. So let me turn this way. Same thing. It's a little spotlight there. It's hard to tell the difference here because we're in the middle of the day, but let me do this. I'll keep those two up right there for a second. And for a moment, I'll diverge into this tooltip, which allows me to change day or night by pointing up toward the sky, holding trigger, and moving the sun down. There we go. So I'll leave that off for a minute. So you can see here that this is the spotlight. So you can imagine that you can make a flashlight with this particular one. Now, if you go ahead and inspect it and go to its inspector, you can see here, if we go up to the root, there's the visual. Up again, there's the point light, and then it's down to a spotlight. So if I go here, even though it says point light, it's kind of confusing. It says point light, but it's actually a spot. Now I can change it to a point or directional or what have you, but we'll keep it at spot. But you can see there, it's not entirely bright. I can change shadow strength. I'm sorry, not shadow strength. Intensity. Change that to like a 3, right? See how it's getting brighter as a 5, 7, that sort of thing. So you can change the intensity that route as well. And you can also do that with logics, scripting, and all kinds of cool stuff like that. So that is a spotlight. And that is a point light. Point light is just essentially emanating from its location. It's typically used for like making lamps, things of that nature, right? And also don't forget you can change the color as well. So if I wanted the color to be green, I can do that as well. And I now have a green light. See that? And again, I can also change the intensity of this one as well, which is pretty awesome. Okay. All right, let me get rid of that. I will go ahead and bring it back to daytime by pointing, clicking, bringing the sun up. Simple as that. I just love the ease of use of this environment, this metaverse. It is the best thing I've ever seen. I love it. All right, so that takes care of the lights side of it here. So we took care of that. We did the material tip. Labeler, meter, and these other ones I'm not sure about because I haven't really messed with them. Let's see what this one is. Particle spray. Oh, that's kind of cool. Let's see what else it does here. Nothing? Okay. So, I don't know. It looks like it just sprays particles, as the name implies. I'm just going to stick with ones that I've actually messed with. This one here is a color tip. Let me equip that. So, actually, let me de-equip it for a second. I'm going to go back and make a shape, make it easier instead of using my dev tooltip. Make a box. And if I go ahead and equip the color tip, I can change the color here to blue, let's just say. Now when I point at the box and click it, it now makes it blue. Now, while I have that open there, I'm going to de-equip this because that one's pretty easy, right? And you can see I can walk through the box, right? So here, what you can do is come to this one, Character Collider Setter, and I can go ahead and equip it, point at what I want to collide with, de-equip it, get rid of it. Now when I walk to it, I can't move through it. It attached a character collider to it. So that's another tool tip right there, which is really cool. Grabable setter tip, I believe, obviously, I'm assuming this sets the grabbable component. So let me see. So if I inspect this, you guys remember in the first tutorial that I talked about these things called components right here. There is a component that makes this object so it's grabbable, which is right there. Okay, grabbable. So in this particular case, I've set it to grabbable, and it's also set to scalable, which means you can grab it and scale it with your hands. But if I delete this, you can see I can't grab it. So I am guessing, and I've never used this tooltip yet, but we might as well while we're here. I'm assuming it adds a grabbable component to it. Yep, which makes me able to grab it. Now, does it add the scale? Yep, it adds a scale by default as well. Oh, right there. So you can actually check it or not check it to be scalable. Oh, that's cool. So I just learned something new. Pretty cool tip. I like that. All right, let's see. This one is the logics tip. So this one here allows you to script things. So for that, I am going to go over here. Okay, this will be, you know what? Let me do something a little bit different. I am going to go to my tutorial world that I've made. Oh, let's see here. World and published. There's my tutorial world that I've just published. And I am going to go start a private session so nobody comes in while I'm doing it, because the logics I had over there was probably a little too complex to gather at the very part of it. I made this world so anybody that can come in, and I'm still creating it, by the way, it's not finished. But I made this world so that anybody can come and learn basics of things like scripting and components in Neos. And I figured this would be an easier one to show, like, let me see which one would be easy. This one will be easy right here. This will explain logic's tip quite well. So if I go back to my inventory, go to my logic tip, this is what they call built-in scripting or visual scripting here in the game. Now, if I go and hit my context menu and hit node browser, these are all the different nodes that you can use in the world to make everything interactable. So, for example, if I go to input, I can input and add a bool, which is a Boolean, true or false, a string as an input. So if I had a sentence or a word that I needed to input into a particular value, I can do that as well. So all of these are created just by grabbing them and double clicking on them and then pointing in the world and double clicking your trigger. So now you have this node that you can go ahead and attach to things, to other nodes, okay? And that's what they call visual scripting. So as an example, I have this kind of simplified example. And when you come into this world, if you guys come into my tutorial world, you'll see here that you can move up and down on this. I go step by step and explain exactly what all these are. But just as a shortened version of this elapsed time, if you look at it here with your logics tip, you can see it kind of tells you right there what it's for. And it's a string, a float, pack in place, and there will tell me the time. So this time is from the time that I actually spawned this node in the game. This is the time that has elapsed since then. If I click pulse, what it will do is it will reset it because I have it set, let's see, on reset. Trying to remember where it is now. Okay, so that pulse there. So this pulse here is what actually makes something happen. It's kind of like if you're going to go open a door, you're going to reach out, grab the door handle, and turn it. That's like a pulse. You're doing something to make an action happen, such as a door swinging open. So in this case here, if I hit pulse, this will go back to 0 and start counting up again until infinity. Until I hit pulse again, then it will go back to 0. What I've done here is I've made logics, and I just simply pulled this out to see visually what the time frame is. And I'm saying in this particular case, this is a greater than or equal to. So the top number is the number that I'm comparing, which is this number. And I'm saying if this number below it, which is 5, once it gets to that, if it's greater than or equal to 5, do something. So over here, you'll see a Boolean, which means true or false. So it'll be set to false and it's in its current state because it's greater than 5, right? 8,000, blah, blah, blah is greater than 5. So its current state, if we grab it and pull it out and hit it, you'll see it says true, okay? But if I were to hit pulse, it's going to go back to 0, and you'll see it says false until it gets up to 5, which is right there, and a sound plays. So what happened there? Well, it reached 5, so it was greater than 5 now, so this automatically turned to true. And then I have a node here that says fire something whenever something is true. So I connected this to this, which says false at the beginning until it reaches 5. Then it turns into true. And when that happens, it says do something. And this do something is a play one shot. It's basically saying take an audio clip and just play it. That's it. That's all it's telling it to do. So again, right now we're at 45. If I were to hit pulse, it goes back to 0. When it reaches 5, it'll be greater than or equal to 5. It will then kick true, and you can hear right there that it fired off a sound as it's supposed to. That is logics, and you do it with this tooltip. And there's just so many things you can do. Here's a little more complex version of one here, which makes a box move between 2 points, called a tween. Okay, and there's some logics involved with that, but I go over it in detail right here on this little tween animations. So take some time to visit this tutorial world because there's a lot of cool stuff in here. This teaches you how to make something bigger and smaller and all kinds of cool stuff. Here's my latest magnum opus that I just learned thanks to people on Discord because their Discord is fantastic. They have really helpful people. This is really cool here. Let me show you this, and then we'll go back to normal. This door here is made in a manner that if I were to put a check in state, it will go up. I want it to be that this box, this sphere, and that cone all have to be placed on their respective cubes for that to be true and to go up. So if I take that and drop it on there, take that and drop it on there, now you'll see it'll play a sound and the door will open. And as soon as it's no longer true, in other words, not all the objects are on the tables, it goes back to false. So that's a little puzzle I made. And again, I have it all listed here for you to learn. All right, I think that's enough for today. We're going to go back and go over some other different objects and brushes in the next session. Hope you guys enjoyed it, man. I love doing these particular tutorials. These are really fun. So until next time, peace out, players.